Inte we for say oh hwe bus ya bus any bus ye be commission e wa ha hwe electric buses aban no e ka say o de ba no o de ba ama ne ne asisi ha aha inte no MPP aban no de so wa ya de inte wa ya de no say e bo na bus inte no official launch of electric buses for public transport e no say ya tro e wo ha fe a no inte no impelefon de bebrina na eba bebrina bebrina na eba to say yenso Billy Snaps Ghana Online TV ye de ebrem aha into sha abayo afefe otrika we aha no ho fe yopo wa sha aha no ho fe yopo the electric buses no eno bi na o say wo hwe no bibia edededem bibia ede na akwemu fe wa sha atare fe ale say ono so electric buses they say why not fe it was for well sure electric bus no and I say you telephone telephone omi ono ani no na ochi omi yapo me yawoko omi want me kasa sia ntino okay so sure mommy want me kasa say I think say information yeda mama no sanet nti electric buses no no na obeni kase abome na bus we ohunu sen kama eden na man dance so bus watrem no
mentime mu da bet
say eden na dance so
me hu say you very cute even though en cause more traffic but nipa be ko more
oh okay it is a cute no dey we need ho okay na o te
emi ti madina ha
inte wo kwa akra o befa we bi
me kwa akra
okay alright inte no wow sure phobia almost so want to madina ha ne important na say almost so amoka de omunim efa bus no se na bus no esifa etie ewa ha inte bus ndi efe pa wo sha efe mmema ne mania obia asha ta fe a ode etwetwa aha nti bus ne efe ha mmema etim emmaso etim osha advantage o be ma say ono so warefo a wo twa ye fezen ono so etwi ne bus ha nti yembra wa sha ha mombi so na waje ne city no asha ta fe ne sada so stia na nya odi abegina ko ha nti afa stia na Dr.Bawumia no no na say o sha mommy waje ne stia ono so ede nkofo ebetu kwan cameras bia wowum aha nti fa kan na bia wo bia no itumi monitor fe to wa sha bus na de esi efe pa efe ha maybe aso twa ne phone ah okay let me ocha yo mame ami apom bibia boko wow sha waje stia on so everything on so every tribus no na ode nkofo tutu kwan akommia bia ebe koboko eti ye kade a senior bus nti no emu ofe conductors ewum ani ade conductors ni awum cameras na wo sha camera ba ko ni ha nti the car na kwa camera no ewum na akire inside so no camera ewo ho aha nti no bia camera wo a wetumi aren wetumi ehu bia ehye no ko ni ade ha alright nti no the way I would betu aka no nia no eno so ewo ho urema ekwan a wo so betu we friend e-bus na say electronic bus e-bus aha bibia code guitar nti de guitar na Dr.Bawumia kan no ampa say wetumi aren ama na aye nti e-bus no ekoso no Dr.Bawumia wa yade o ma yempre no onipa yade a osayi aha nti mo ma ni ayempre na de say e-bus na ida no yentumi ema na enye fefe nti hwa aha nti fans nya wo air condition bibia wo very cute and nice very cute and nice aha your screens ni ade nya nti we hwa scanning machines na wa no scanning another say otua bia fefe nti no ye de abrocha bagana aha Dr.Bawumia e de abrocha bagana ye ka mama yempre my empress, or mine be ye, into many year, it's a young so, or mine be ye, it's a no so. Transport service no be ye, it's a no so, into no, e bus no, and none of say, IFA, Yalan Apple Hano, way a cacana, a wahano. I don't want to never. While shot, and before so normal and near professional. And bang of it. I might say, Biako, and let you make the do a hay, then I back up on.
Oh, you made the men work out 5 million, we say. You have a problem, no, I had their pass walk of electric bus, now, Brian. Sisi ama young castle transport abba from because when free and say 5 city maybe 250%. But you
and free
and less low fare cost. Your breast work
bread. And I bread and I bread.
Sometimes we say, oh, call to say Madina. Yeah, and a potato to man and a potato to say, one say, uncle for be great and a point home. Like the cars, we Juma. It will be easy.
One gin is no more at doors or markets in my cars no more. Never talk no more.
Fancy me cry. Meet me 19 film fee and come Madina and Kofa. But buses will. Junction open.
Sir. Yeah. It's a bit junction by junction.
Yes.
Original. It's a very warm.
For what I've just said, the Vice President
we shall open on Grandma also will be with it. And then there's no back. We are young now.
But where do you move that?
Who will be that? Not say, I brought you up so on Abagana. Landing Ghana. All right. Enjoy Utrim Kanama Kabuchika. No. I told her, I say Utrim as a one Kabuchia. And one no, Intina, Bawumia, dear. Well, shot. Bawumia for now, I'm also my friend from Hotel. Bawumia, most of them. That is it. Oh, Papa Bako, oh, my baby.
Where they Bawumia Bako, you my baby.
Oh, okay.
You have free education.
Okay.
You have electric bus.
Okay, electric bus.
Very fair to our classes.
Not normal one here.
Normal one here,
9 cities.
And away is 6.
So that's a what? So I'm
what was air conditioning?
Where air conditioning bus? Oh, okay.
Usha,
I don't know to say fan. I said, when you find. It's Usha.
Ghana, you're paying yes, somebody.
I say, Untu Kwanda home.
Oh, me to Kwanda.
But so travel when I want to come here.
Meeting, we have a grandma for the baby. Now, I brought you a Ghana. I brought you, baby. I brought you a nanny woman. You won't be a biwa. You won't have to do a binio. I was getting the one who will be new.
All right, it's enough. You can close it. All right, it's enough. Osha, bus is none of the say. And for say about me, why are there? It's in my emperor. Yet, you're who are. And near my papa and your bone with the winter. Say who are the papa. Bawumia any the boots for yeah, you can want some. Now almost say it's one more no
the managing director of the Greater Accra Passenger Transport Executive GAPT, Mr. Charles Annan, for his message of goodwill.
Your Excellency, the Vice President of the Republic of Ghana and the flag bearer of the New Patriotic Party. the Honorable Minister of State in charge of local government, the Honorable Minister of Transport, the Board Chairman of GAPTI, the Board Chairman of Metro Mass, board members of GAPTI, members of Parliament, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, and all protocols eschewed by the Regional Minister duly observes. I wish to welcome you to the premises of the Greater Accra Passenger Transport Executive, GAPTI. I also want to humbly express my gratitude to His Excellency for conferring such honor on GAPTI, allowing us to host this historic event. GAPTI is highly satisfied to collaborate with Metro Mass Transit on this August occasion. GAPTI was established by the Ministry of Local Government, Decentralization and Rural Development through the local administration of the Greater Accra Metropolitan Area to harness the necessary human and material resources for planning, implementing higher occupancy mass transit services. This is in the light of the chronic traffic congestions which pose a major mobility challenge in the daily commutes and travels in Accra. It is also symptomatic of a growing problem of rapid urban population increase and urban sprawl with limited infrastructural support. Your Excellency, ladies and gentlemen, it is projected that more than 60% of our population will transition into urban communities within the next decade. The current urban environment in Ghana has grown increasingly complex due to demographic shifts and changes in services, necessitating a different approach than that employed in the previous decade. This is why GAPTI's mandate to develop and implement systems for urban transport permitting, network planning services, contract management, and urban transport management becomes even more relevant. Since its inception, GAPTI has worked diligently with the Metropolitan, Municipal, and District Assemblies to implement public transport regulatory measures that have culminated in providing sanitized transport operations within their respective areas of jurisdiction on the lives of others. Ladies and gentlemen, for what I've just said, the Vice President, knowing that in 2017, GAPTI trained the first batch of 60 female drivers to drive buses in Ghana, called us into a meeting and said, GAPTI, how can you train Kayayo to also drive buses? Because for the Vice President, he wanted to tell Mr. President, it is possible for Kayayo to drive buses. It is possible for us to do it within 5 months. And today, Your Excellency, I am here to tell you that the ladies you gave us today are driving buses. And you will see it very soon on your screen. Furthermore, to enhance the regulatory functions
policy, we have to wait for 20 years. That is not the thinking of His Excellency the Vice President. So to you, the media, I want to say that when we were commissioning the Jamestown Fishing Harbour, I said something, because the time that we found ourselves, there was a contention about who did this and who didn't do that. There shouldn't be any contention about who introduced electric vehicle bus policy in this country. That person is the Vice President, Dr. Bawumia. It's not about somebody who tried to dream about it, but he didn't dream, so we should give him credit. So I beg you, when you leave here, it's not going to be any dreamers It's not going to be who thought about it. It's the person who had come out with this policy. And that person is His Excellency, the Vice President, Dr. Bawumia. And I think that the media will do as I have explained, because I did not find any policy on my table before we took office. So I don't know that anybody might have thought about it. Politics, today politics is not about magic. There's no magic in politics today. The time that we used to have Professor Diago Diazamboja, Professor Hindu and co, they are all past. Today, politics that we do today is practical. So please, the media, I beg you, you shouldn't go and raise any contention that somebody, we saw it in somebody's manifesto about 20 years ago and they didn't do it. That is not what it is. This policy, this electric vehicle policy and its implementation is by His Excellency, the Vice President, Dr. Bawumia. His position is that we are introducing a policy, we are introducing a project that will revamp or that will change or reform the public transport system. So we are using the Metro Mass as a third base. It's not that we are only concentrating on the Metro Mass. So this first phase that we are launching, we want the Metro Mass to operate it for her to see the issues that we are going to have in terms of problems and other things, so that we can deal with it when we are going to do the whole arrangement. So please, that is it. So for the private sector, especially GPRTU and GRTCC, please be ready for training. Be ready that the Vice President is going to introduce these electric vehicle buses for the whole public transport system. And we need your people. That's why we are entreating the people who are operating public transport in this country.
Into domestic increase in fuel prices, then into increase in transportation fares according to the existing formula. I was thinking very deeply about this and how we could cushion the Ghanaian public from these external influences. But I came to the conclusion that going towards electric vehicles in public transport was the surest way to protect ourselves from the external influences of the rise in diesel and other petroleum prices that affect the cost of transportation in Ghana. The launch of the National Electric Vehicle Policy has ushered in a new era of innovation. And this policy was launched by His Excellency the President, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, on the sidelines of the COP28 in Dubai. We have ushered in a new era of innovation, driving gradual decarbonization of the transport sector. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, today we are making history with the commissioning of these electric buses. It represents a visionary shift in how we approach public transport. Today we are making a definitive step towards revolutionizing the transport sector with sustainability and innovation at its core. Today we are setting the stage for a future and aligning our interventions with global best practices. The use of fossil fuel, offer lower operating and maintenance costs compared to conventional diesel buses. The use of the electric bus will therefore translate into more efficient use of resources and cut operational costs by about 50% to the benefit of passengers. Metro Mass will be better positioned to enhance services, lower transport fares, and invest in fleet renewal and expansion efforts. Ladies and gentlemen, while the benefits are promising, the success of this project relies heavily on commitment to robust and continuous maintenance. The neglect and mishandling of buses will derail the effort that has gone into the acquisition of these buses. As a people, we should know that reckless use of public assets represents an enormous drain on national resources. Sherman to Accra, and after the pilot, we will expand to the rest of the region and the country. It is no longer a secret that we urgently need to improve the quality of our public transport services, starting with the public transport operators such as GPRTU and the Trotro subsector. I will work closely with GAPT to embark on the fleet renewal program through the deployment of e-vehicles. We will help GPRTU and other transport operators to acquire and facilitate the acquisition of these electric vehicles, these buses that will encourage their business. This will be achieved through an improved public regulatory system, enabling the government to acquire the necessary regulatory data and support a fleet renewal credit scheme. Now, the Ministry of Transport is undertaking nationwide dissemination of going to cost. And I think that the answer, and it is consistent with our estimates, that when I announced this policy in February of this year, when I gave my lecture at UPSA, I think between 40 to 50% reduction in the fares from these electric buses. This is what you are going to see. From today, when you board it, you will see that the price is 40 to 50% lower because the operational costs are low and you are able to pass that on to the consumer. And this is where we see the future of public transport going. I thank you all very much for your attention. God bless you and God bless our homeland, Ghana. Thank you very much.